Good morning. Let's face a truth that most people avoid their whole lives. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your excuses. Stop expecting sympathy. This is where your real transformation begins. In a world overflowing with noise, distractions, and people busy with their own struggles, the hard truth is that your problems are not at the center of anyone else's world. It sounds harsh, maybe even cold, but it is one of the most liberating truths you will ever accept. Because the moment you stop expecting others to carry your pain, the moment you stop hoping that someone will save you, is the moment you finally start carrying yourself. You see, for most of our lives, we are conditioned to think that the world owes us something. We expect support from friends, empathy from strangers, and acknowledgement from the crowd. When things don't go our way, we complain, we sulk, and we wait for someone to tell us it's going to be okay. But what happens when that comfort never comes? What happens when people you counted on disappear, or when life deals you pain that no one else seems to notice? Do you break or do you rise? The truth is, the world keeps moving whether you are broken or whole. Time doesn't pause for your heartbreak, your losses, or your failures. This isn't cruelty. This is simply life. And once you face it without bitterness, you will find strength you never knew you had. Because when you stop waiting for someone else to pick you up, you realize that your legs still work. Your heart is still beating, and your mind is still capable of creating a better future, starting today. Taking full responsibility is not about blaming yourself for everything that has gone wrong. It's about recognizing that, from this moment forward, you are the author of your next chapter. No one else. Yes, you may have been hurt by others. Yes, your past might be filled with unfairness, betrayal, or loss. But your future, that's yours, and no one, absolutely no one, can take control of that unless you give them permission. Think about the most successful people you admire. They all faced rejection, criticism, and moments of deep loneliness. But what sets them apart is that they didn't allow these challenges to define them. They took control. They turned pain into power. They didn't waste their energy asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, they asked, "What can I do next?" And that question changes everything. When you start taking full responsibility, your mindset shifts. You stop blaming your circumstances, your upbringing, the economy, or the people who wronged you. You stop saying, "I can't," and start asking, "How can I?" This is not positive thinking, it's powerful action. Responsibility gives you the clarity to see that your life is yours to shape. No one else is going to do the work for you, and that's exactly why it matters so much that you do it for yourself. But taking responsibility isn't glamorous. There are no instant rewards, no applause, no overnight transformations. In fact, it's lonely at first. You'll work when no one notices. You'll struggle in silence, and you'll fight battles that no one sees. But eventually, the results of your hard work, your discipline, and your persistence will be too big for anyone to ignore. That's when people will call you lucky, successful, or talented, but you'll know the truth. You simply decided to stop waiting for help and started helping yourself. This mindset doesn't mean you reject help when it comes. Of course, mentors, friends, and opportunities will cross your path. But the key difference is that you won't depend on them to move forward. You'll be grateful for them, but not defined by them. Whether they show up or not, you'll keep going. Whether people support you or criticize you, you'll keep moving toward your goals. Because your progress is your responsibility, and your happiness is your job. Responsibility is freedom. When you stop waiting for sympathy, you stop giving power to others over your emotions. You stop playing the victim and start playing the creator of your life. And in doing so, you gain the strength to face challenges, the resilience to overcome setbacks, and the wisdom to build a life that fulfills you. And here's the best part. Once you take responsibility, you become unstoppable. Life will still throw punches. People will still disappoint you, but none of it will break you the same way again, because you'll know you hold the power to stand back up. Again and again. In conclusion, the world may not care about your struggles, but that doesn't mean your struggles are meaningless. They are your training ground, your test, and your story in the making. When you stop expecting sympathy and start taking full responsibility for your life, you unlock a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and freer than you've ever imagined. So stop waiting, stop complaining, start building, because the only person who can truly change your life is you. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner everything will begin to change. In a world addicted to instant results and quick applause, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking validation before the work is even done. We post our intentions on social media, hoping for likes and comments that give us temporary motivation. But the truth is, success does not happen in public. It happens in the quiet hours when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, and when it feels like no one cares. This is where true discipline lives, and this is where greatness is built. The champions of life, whether they are athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, or leaders, understand this secret. They don't build their legacy in front of the crowd. They build it in the early mornings when the world is still asleep. They build it in the late nights when others have already given up for the day. They train, they study, they work, alone, in silence, without applause. Their reward is not immediate praise, but the deep satisfaction of knowing they showed up for themselves. It is easy to complain. It is easy to talk about how hard you're working. It is easy to say that you deserve success. But none of that will bring you results. Complaining does not move you forward. Talking about your plans does not create progress. What creates progress is silent, focused, consistent action. The kind of action that no one else sees, but you know you did. And that is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The problem with seeking external validation is that it makes you dependent. It becomes a drug. You get addicted to the high of approval, and when it's gone, your motivation disappears. You feel lost when no one acknowledges your effort, but when your discipline is internal, when your drive comes from your own standards, you are unstoppable. Because then, it doesn't matter who notices. It doesn't matter if the world claps or stays silent. You do the work because you said you would. You show up because you promised yourself you would, and that kind of commitment is rare and powerful. Every single day, life gives you a choice, show up or give up, and most people wait until they feel motivated. They wait for the perfect conditions. They wait for inspiration to strike, but the ones who win, they don't wait for motivation. They act whether they feel like it or not. Whether they are tired, discouraged, or facing setbacks, they do the work. They trust that consistency will bring the results eventually, even if today feels like a struggle. They keep watering the seed long before they see the first sprout. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievements. You might have the biggest dreams in the world, but without daily action, those dreams stay locked inside your mind. Discipline means showing up for practice even when you're sore. It means studying when you'd rather scroll on your phone. It means sacrificing comfort today for greatness tomorrow. It is not glamorous. Most of the time, it feels boring and hard. But it works. Over time, it builds habits. Habits build routines, and routines build results. You need to ask yourself, Are you working for the applause or for the result? Are you driven by what people will say about you, or by what you know you can become? Because the applause comes and goes. People's opinions shift like the wind, but the skills you build in silence, the character you develop when no one's watching, that stays with you forever. And one day, the world will see the results of what you've built in private. They'll call you lucky. They'll say it happened overnight, but you'll know the truth. You'll remember the mornings you got up before the sun, the nights you kept working when no one cared, and the days you kept pushing forward without anyone giving you credit. And that truth will give you a kind of confidence that no applause ever could. The hardest part is that the silence feels lonely. You'll wonder if it's worth it. You'll question whether anyone will ever notice your effort. But here's what you need to understand. You don't do it for them. You do it for you, because you promised yourself you wouldn't quit. And keeping that promise is what builds trust in yourself. Every time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you are reliable, strong, and capable of overcoming discomfort. That is how self-respect is built. Through action, not words. The results will come. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But they will come because discipline compounds over time. Effort adds up, and what feels invisible today will be undeniable tomorrow. The world may not see the work you're doing in the dark, but it will see the light you create because of it. In conclusion, stop wasting your energy looking for sympathy or applause. Let your work speak for itself. Let your results do the talking. Build silently, patiently, and consistently. Because when you build in silence, your success becomes unshakable. You are no longer swayed by the opinions of others. You stand strong in the knowledge that you earned every step of your journey. So embrace the silence, embrace the grind, and trust that your discipline, done without applause, will create a life that speaks louder than any crowd ever could. Winning is often portrayed as something you do to prove yourself to others. From a young age, we are told to win awards, get recognition, and be the best so people will notice us, applaud us, and praise us. But the reality is, when you win for the applause, you're still trapped. You're still living your life for someone else's approval, chasing validation that will never truly satisfy you. Winning for the crowd is temporary. The cheers fade, the spotlight moves on, and you're left feeling empty, wondering what's next. But when you win for your own growth, when your victory is about becoming better, not being seen, you build a success that no one can take away from you. External validation is fleeting. One day people will praise you, the next they might criticize you. If your sense of worth rises and falls with their opinions, you'll live your whole life on a roller coaster of emotions. Some days you'll feel like a champion, other days like a failure, even if your effort remains the same. But when your drive comes from within, you create a steady foundation. Your motivation becomes unshakable because it's built on your own standards, not someone else's approval. True growth is personal. No one else can fully understand the sacrifices you've made, the struggles you've faced, or the reasons why you do what you do. And they don't need to, because the most important person you'll ever impress is the person you see in the mirror every day. When you win for yourself, you reclaim your power. You stop performing for the crowd, and you start performing for your own evolution. Your goals are no longer about proving them wrong or making them clap. They're about proving yourself right. Winning for your own growth means you measure success differently. Instead of asking, "Did they notice?" you ask, "Did I give my best today?" Instead of chasing perfection to please others, you pursue progress to please yourself. You stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. You realize your journey is yours alone, unique, messy, and meaningful in ways no one else will ever fully see. And that's okay. You don't need the world to understand your path to know it's worth walking. There is a quiet power in working for your own growth. You become more resilient because your confidence no longer depends on someone's praise. When they applaud, great. When they don't, no problem, because your purpose is bigger than their opinions. This inner freedom allows you to take risks without fear of judgment. It allows you to fail without shame because failure becomes feedback, not embarrassment. You stop chasing perfection and start embracing the process. And here's what's interesting. When you stop trying to impress others, you often end up inspiring them. People are drawn to authenticity. They respect those who quietly work on themselves, who rise without bragging, who shine without asking for attention. By focusing on your own growth, you set an example of what's possible. Your actions speak louder than your words. You become living proof that fulfillment doesn't come from applause, but from personal mastery. But this kind of fulfillment takes patience. Because when you win for yourself, the rewards aren't always immediate or visible. Sometimes you'll be the only one who knows how far you've come. Sometimes your biggest wins are internal. More discipline, more peace, more strength. The outside world might not notice, but you will. And that's enough, because you didn't do it for them in the first place. This mindset frees you from the toxic cycle of comparison. You no longer feel the need to measure your success against someone else's timeline. You stop feeling behind just because someone else got there first. You understand that your growth happens at your pace, in your way, for your reasons. You become less reactive to what others are doing and more focused on what you can do better today than you did yesterday. That shift changes everything. In the end, the greatest victories are the ones that transform who you are, not just what you have. Trophies gather dust, titles fade, applause dies down, but the discipline you built, the courage you developed, and the wisdom you gained will stay with you forever. These are the things that can't be taken away. These are the true rewards of winning for yourself, so stop asking the world to clap for you. Stop waiting for permission to feel proud of your progress. Stop basing your worth on how many people are watching. You don't need a stage to be great. You just need a reason that's bigger than their opinions and deeper than their praise. That reason is you, your growth, your peace, your purpose. In conclusion, real victory is not about the trophies you collect, but the person you become in the process. Win because you want to grow. Win because you refuse to settle. Win because you believe in the person you are capable of becoming. And when you do, something amazing happens. The applause no longer matters. You'll have already won the most important battle, the one within yourself. So keep going, even when no one's watching. Keep growing, even when no one's cheering, because winning for your own growth is the kind of success that lasts forever. When you decide to take responsibility for your life and win for yourself, something remarkable happens. You change your own life first, but through your actions, you silently inspire others as well. It's important to understand that the most powerful form of leadership is not telling people what to do, but showing them through your example. People may not listen to your words, but they will watch your actions. They will see how you handle struggle, how you face disappointment, and how you rise after falling. And when they see someone walk through the fire and come out stronger without asking for sympathy, something awakens within them. You give them proof that it's possible. Change starts with one person. That person is you. You can't wait for the world to get better before you decide to act. You can't wait for everyone else to believe in your dream before you take the first step. You have to step forward in faith, trusting that your efforts will make a difference, even if you're walking alone at first. Because the truth is, the world doesn't change when you preach about success. It changes when you embody it. When your life becomes a living example of discipline, courage, and resilience, people are inspired by those who live what they talk about. They are moved by authenticity, not empty motivation. When you grind in silence, when you fight for your goals without asking for recognition, people see your consistency. They see your growth, and slowly, without you even realizing it, your example gives others permission to believe in their own strength. You may never hear them say it. They might never thank you, but your actions plant seeds in their minds. They think, if they can do it, maybe I can too. And that spark of belief is what starts their own journey. It's easy to complain about how negative the world is, how uninspired people are, how no one seems to care about growth. But complaining changes nothing. If you want to see more discipline in the world, be the disciplined one. If you want to see more kindness, be kind. If you want to see more courage, show courage in your own life. Lead yourself first, and the ripple effect will follow. Change doesn't come from pointing fingers. It comes from being the example. And understand this, inspiring others is not about perfection. You don't have to be flawless. You don't have to have everything figured out. What people admire most is your honesty in the struggle, your effort in the face of setbacks, your refusal to quit even when progress is slow. They respect the way you get back up every time life knocks you down. That raw, imperfect effort is what makes your story powerful. It shows that success is not reserved for the chosen few, but available to anyone willing to work for it. Your life is your message. The way you show up each day, the way you treat others, the way you pursue your goals, that is your message to the world. You don't need a stage to make an impact. You don't need millions of followers to make a difference. Every day you are influencing someone, a friend, a sibling, a coworker, a stranger who notices your energy. The question is, what kind of influence are you leaving behind? Some people wait until they reach the top before they try to inspire others. But that's backwards. The climb itself is what inspires people. Your journey, not your destination, is what speaks the loudest. When people see you working hard, staying humble, and pushing forward despite obstacles, they don't just see your achievements. They see your character. And character leaves a deeper mark than any trophy ever could. One of the most beautiful things about personal growth is that its effects extend far beyond you. When you heal yourself, you show others that healing is possible. When you discipline yourself, you show others that focus is possible. When you achieve your goals, you show others that greatness is possible. And that silent permission is what creates a better world, one person at a time. But here's the key. Don't do it for them. Don't change your life hoping for applause or admiration. Do it because you refuse to live below your potential. Do it because you want peace in your heart, not praise from the crowd. The impact on others is a byproduct, not the goal. Your job is to be the best version of yourself, because that's the life you deserve to live. Everything else that happens from that is just bonus. In the end, the most lasting change you can create in this world is the change you create within yourself. Laws can change, systems can change, but if people don't change at the personal level, nothing truly improves. But when you raise your standards, when you build habits of excellence, when you take responsibility for your life, you become a walking example of what is possible. And that example has more power than you will ever fully understand. In conclusion, don't underestimate your influence. Someone out there is watching how you carry yourself in silence. They are watching how you respond to challenges, how you face failure, and how you celebrate your small victories without needing a spotlight. You might never know their name, you might never hear their story, but your example could be the spark that lights their fire. So win for yourself first, change your life first, and by doing that without even trying, you might just change someone else's life forever.